Hey, we're kind of back. A couple of us, anyway, gonna make up for some lost time and have a little solo session. We'll call it 13.5, and it'll be awesome. So I'm here with two of my very good friends, Michael
Hello.
and DK,
Hi.
and we're gonna have a mini adventure. Here we go. So, two of you, for some reason, just could not get to sleep, something weighing heavy on your minds, keeping you awake, and taking some of the burden of worriedness from your friends. You all decided to scout the path ahead to see what dangers were in your immediate vicinity. So, Echo, you wrote up a very exact, very well written, very perfectly aligned note to let them know that you were leaving and set off down the road in the vague direction of Endelyn Moongrave's castle. And that's where we'll pick up is the two of you on the road. Omrick, you did make it a note to bring along oh my god, I just blanked.
Taconite?
Because I don't have Taconite. Yes, you made it a note to bring along Taconite because you knew that you wouldn't be able to keep up with Echo's pace. And Juniper has launched herself into the air to surveil from above because Dash was like, wouldn't it have made sense for Omrick to leave Taconite with us? And I was like, oh no, he just couldn't keep up. So you astride Taconite and Echo and Juniper set off into the perpetual darkness. Is there anything you would like to do as you travel along?
As always, keep a vigilant eye out for signs of being followed or observed.
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
I received a dice dragon for a holiday present, so I had to
What?
remove it from my dice dragon.
What? Look at that. That is amazing. That's so cool.
Oh, that's an at one.
Oh, nat one. Seems fine.
Yeah, we are all right. I am sure of it.
I'm looking for something totally different. I'm looking for signs of distress or struggle or anybody who might be suffering and in need of assistance.
Make a
Audible,
perception
audible.
check. Audible.
That is a nat one for me as well. I'm going to guess I don't
Start
pick up
the
on.
session off right. Everything seems fine. No signs of anything anywhere, just rocks and lightning and wind. For miles, miles, and miles.
We are doing job scoping.
A great job. A great job. You do notice traveling on, though, that on the fringes and the edges of your armor and your plates is starting to ice over. And you notice the temperature getting dramatically colder as you travel along.
I will remark to Echo, who I'm guessing does not have the finest tune sense of temperature if I could be. I note that it is getting colder.
Does that bother you?
Not as of yet, but it does seem unusual. This has been a place of very predictably unstable climate, if that makes any sense. And would not have expected this.
Do you think it will bug Juniper?
I am hoping that her fur and general acclimation to aerial temperatures will help.
You have a puppy making weird noises.
Okay. Apologies.
That's okay. I'll just
Reverse
apologize.
sneak
Like-
attack.
Life needs
I will
adventure.
trust Juniper since she is, yes, bear and owl, which I would assume has a hearty amount of cold tolerance. Juniper, if you're cold, you can snuggle taconite. I'll move Omrick.
I would volunteer if needed.
Very well. Shall we continue?
Yes.
Do you think that the cold has anything to do with our destination?
Possible. To my knowledge, we haven't heard much about Endelin using anything cold related, and these hags do seem to love a theme. But I guess, does this, oh, heck with it. I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
It's pretty damn magic.
Do we have a sense for what school?
Yes, it is. Abjuration magic.
Ah.
Sorry, conjuration magic.
Ah.
Ahaha.
All right, so we are dealing with what seems like conjuration magic.
I do not know what that means.
So that means that it's something is being conjured or evoked, as opposed to something that's been like cast as a shield, which would be more of the, if I remember my schools correctly, that would be more of the abjuration.
That seems very self-explanatory.
Yes. I find that the naming of things in magic is oftentimes the clearest part of the whole thing. The rest is mysteries of the universe and the gods and all of that, but the names themselves are often quite straightforward.
Is there anything you'd like to do about that, or can we continue on our mission?
I think it makes sense to continue on our mission until we have more information.
Very well, I will lead.
I will follow.
Excellent. Make a survival check for me, please, as
God.
you push onward.
21 for me.
Excellent.
Favorite train?
Oh, yes, that is favorite terrain, right? Still on a
It
mountain.
sure is.
(14 plus 17).
31.
31.
Beautiful. You all managed to find a clearly defined path through these rocky outcroppings. And after a short while, little flakes of white snow begin to drift down on you. You begin to see the plumes of your breath, Omrick, as you all are progressing forward. And it suddenly becomes pretty deep snow. Like it is just kind of like dusting at first, but then it's an inch, and then it's 2 inches, and then it's 3 inches. And as you're trudging along and your vision is becoming slightly impaired by this snow blurring your vision, suddenly there's a oof as Juniper lands next to you, Echo, and she gives a little bit of a whine and kind of leans into you before looking back at a smaller path that kind of juts off of the main path that you're on.
Are you cold, Juniper? Do you
She
think
gives
we
you a
should
move.
situate her next to Taconite? Do you think we should follow the other path?
She kind of pulls away towards that little side path.
I trust your judgment.
As do I.
Very well.
We will follow.
Let's go. And you can stay next to Taconite. You two should be cozy. Does Taconite have body heat?
Taconite is a celestial. I feel like some sort of warmth would not be totally out of character.
You emit body heat. You stand next to her. If you can make it through the snow.
It is starting to get deeper on you in particular, Omrick. Maybe on Taconite, if you're on Taconite.
You can be shoulder to shoulder with Juniper.
Yes.
Even on Taconite.
Especially on Taconite. I will follow at Juniper's side.
Okay. You all step off of the main path onto this kind of this side. Not really a path. It almost looks like it's just a smaller gully that has been carved out through these juttings of rocks, and you're kind of having to contort yourself to make your way through it as the rocks jut out at odd angles and causes you to have to contort some. But then suddenly in the darkness, there's just like a piercing of light, and as you come a little bit closer, you can see that there's just what looks to be a small little wooden house just right at the end of this path. There is a warm glow that's coming through a window and around the cracks of a door. And it is just barely kind of picked out in silhouette against the blizzard that is now kind of raging around you.
I will draw my bow, but not aim it at anything.
I'm hoping to get a rough sense for the size of this. This looks like it's built for something my size, Echo's size, much smaller. I'm talking Briganock size.
You could tell that Echo would be comfortable in there, and in fact, the ceilings might even be a little high for Echo. You're probably looking at about 10 to 12 feet.
I advise stealth.
Well, I do my best. I also am possessive a sense of caution about this. Perhaps it would make sense for me to stay here with the animals while you more stealthily investigate and report back on what you're seeing, especially if there are signs of people who might need help.
Stay within eye shot.
I shall do my best. It depends on how quickly the snow keeps piling up.
I will approach. There are windows, is that correct?
There is one window on the front next to a door.
I will
stealthily
approach the window, trying to stay out of sight approaching perhaps from the side,
Okay.
if possible.
Sure. Make a stealth check.
Oh, that's a nat 20.
Oh my, how the tables turn.
Nat 1, nat 20. All or nothing.
We
All or
perceive nothing,
nothing.
and nothing perceives us.
All right. You step up to the window. I just got your message on Instagram or on Discord. Sorry.
Oh,
I was like, that's it. Yep. So you take a peek into the window. It is a very warmly lit room. There is the faint sound of a tune being hummed from somewhere behind it, but it does sound a little on edge, maybe a little panicked. There is a fireplace against the far wall from where you see, and in front of that is a very tall figure. You can only see the back of them. They're wrapped in kind of like this green velvety type of robe, and there's like a probably wreath of holly placed on top of its head.
is there anything else of note in the room besides the fireplace?
There is not that you can see. The figure is kind of like shuffling about, looking in things, like opening up sacks and digging through them, pulling things out, pulling cabinet doors open and yanking things out of there, and kind of spinning around the room with its hands on its hips.
Very well. I will report back to Omrick. There appears to be a person looking for something. And there is music that has a discordant edge.
Did the person appear to be in distress or suffering? Or was this more of a casual search?
I don't know what your definition, it seems pretty lax, so maybe. I mean, if you find a lost shoe as suffering, a hangnail, is that suffering? I don't know what your definition is. I saw no visible armaments besides the large figure. Also likes to wear a hat, plant hat, a holly hat, which I approve of.
Did there appear to be any sort of threat to the person, or did they seem like they might pose a threat to us?
I only saw the figure in profile. I saw no weapons.
All right.
It did seem warm. If you are cold.
I would appreciate. And given the size of the place, maybe we could even fit Juniper in and help warm her up, which I suspect she might appreciate. And if not, at least standing near a warm house, perhaps even flying to land on the roof of a warm house, might be warmer than standing here in this.
I would like to do a perimeter check first.
Understandable.
Very well.
Would you like assistance?
Can you be quiet?
Rarely. Clank, clank, clank. The snow helps, but...
Snow does muffle noise in the air. I'm also loth to let you wander alone.
So I shall continue to stay with the animals.
Very well. I will return shortly.
I will not follow.
Could make an investigation check for me.
$19.
19, not too bad. It is a pretty small little place, for it to be as tall, maybe 3 rooms. From what you can tell from the outside, there are a couple of other small windows. They are very high up on the walls, so it even might be a bit of a challenge for you to see in there. Michael changed into a puppy.
He did.
Magic.
Is this conjuration?
What school of magic is that?
I think that's a transfiguration magic.
Tracks.
Yes, so there are a couple of other high windows. You can see some light pouring out from a couple of them. There's a really great smell coming from one of them, just like a really great smell wafting out of one of those windows. But do not direct any let's try that sentence again. You do not detect any direct threat to yourself or your companions.
Very good. I shall make my circuit of the house and advise Omrick. There appear to be no threats. I suppose this person... I saw no other signs of distress.
All right. Would you like me to make the initial approach while you stay here with your bow and the animals? And then I can give you a signal if it is safe to approach. And perhaps warm and or feed Juniper.
I look very pleased at that thought. We're not that far from the house, so I think the animals and I should stay a few steps behind, but I will choose to remain visible with my bow.
All right. That may lead our potential host to see us as more threatening than we need to be. But if that's a tactical calculation that you're comfortable with,
I will not knock an arrow, but I will not have it in my pack or strapped to my
kitty
in my quiver.
All right.
the cat.
Go
Okay.
on.
All right. I will approach the house.
Excellent. You hear the humming of this kind of slightly panicked sort of song coming through the door to you. But it remains closed as you approach.
I shall knock as non-confrontationally as possible on the door.
Performance check?
We'll just let that one happen. Alright. You knock on the door, and it seems almost as soon as you've pulled your hand away, it is flung open, and this light just bursts out onto Omrick standing on the stoop, and there is a towering figure absolutely filling that doorway with the green robe on and the holly leaves. He's got a big brown beard and kind of big bushy hair. He says, come in and know me better, man. He turns and leads you into the space.
Excellent, and thank you, kind host. Greetings and well met.
Greetings to you. What brings you here this fine evening?
Well, a companion of mine and I and our animal friends were out doing a bit of an evening scout for
Oh,
some other friends of ours, and happened on this snowfall, which was unusual for us as it was not snowing when we started.
indeed.
And then we found this house, which seems quite warm and welcoming, which is much appreciated, especially for those of us like myself who are snowdrift sized and prone to freeze.
But please, please bring them in, helping out your friends. Commendable young man. Come on, bring them all in. Let me help you warm up.
I will give little pats on the butt to Juniper and Taconite, just kind of pushing them in towards, and I will follow them to the door.
It seems like the door just fits perfectly each one of you that steps through. And you step into a very warm entrance hall. There is a door that's further in. You catch that scent of just absolute delicious baking coming from somewhere within the house. But you notice that the furniture is a little dusty. It is a little worn. Um, and he goes, well, you've come on quite the night. It is the night of my party. But I seem to have misplaced my pudding.
Well,
Can't find
that
it
sounds
anywhere.
like quite the predicament.
It is. And I do wonder if it's that little girl. She does like to prank me every year. Maybe you could find it. Maybe you could go and find her and find my pudding for me. And then, of course, you would be welcome to join my friends and I for our lovely evening of festivities.
Echo, clearly mistrustful of the situation. Who are you? And who is this little girl?
Oh, well, we're all kind of the same, really. I just operate now, and then she operates then, and then there's another of us who will operate.
Very well. How does one lose a what's a pudding?
Oh, it's an absolutely delicious dessert. We only have it this one night of the year, my friends and I, but it is absolutely essential and it's delicious. I'm sure that you will love the taste of it when you get to return. Spend the evening with us.
Does this count as suffering?
I don't think we've reached that level yet. This appears to be more a matter of reasonable but mild distress. However, a planned celebration that is spoiled by the lack of an expected ritual
Brings suffering to many indeed.
would even if it didn't meet your threshold of suffering, it's still a good turn that we can do. And especially if we hope to benefit from this hospitality, especially, for example, if there is food here for Juniper, it would only be polite of us to reciprocate in some way. And this seems like a very, very reasonable way to do that.
And one of my guests every year always brings gifts for everyone who is here.
Very well. How large is a pudding?
Last time I saw it, it was about the size of a dinner plate.
Do you expect that to have changed?
Not really, no.
Okay. All right.
Very well. We shall add another mission to our list.
Oh, you already have missions. Oh, very nice indeed. Must be very busy, important people.
We are very busy.
You said you
excellent.
might know where this girl might be or might have taken the
Yes.
pudding?
Yes, she'll be in the past.
That does pose a bit of a challenge.
Oh no, I can get you right to there.
Perhaps less of a challenge than I thought.
Just can't go myself. I have to finish all the rest of the preparations. Never enough time.
The past? Is that the name of a place?
That is this place before now.
That seems tactically risky.
Yes,
It
I guess
is-
you could say it would be risky. It would probably be better to not be seen, heard, or spotted, or caught in any way.
How far in the past?
Maybe to the beginning.
Okay, so longer
First
than
pudding.
okay. So if something goes wrong, we wouldn't just be able to wait a few days and catch up to where we are now.
Oh, what plane am I on?
We
And
are
what plane
currently-
are you from?
We believe ourselves to be in a place called Yon.
Yawn. That one doesn't ring a bell.
It is a Fey land.
Ah, you play games with the Fae. That does make more sense now. I see. It could be a couple of days. Yes,
Or
that's
perhaps
correct.
longer.
Or perhaps slightly longer.
How do we indicate to you that we have found the pudding and return?
Well, you will just have to leave this room. Okay, so I'm going to send you to this room, and then you leave this room, and then when you find it, you come back to this room.
And the room will be here.
If you come back to it, yes.
Very well.
Hello, lady.
This is what it sounds like when you talk. That makes sense.
I'm very sorry
That's-
for the distress that must cause you.
Sounds like he's a lot of fun.
No.
Well, I'm sure
All right.
that I don't know how to rectify this situation. Shall we go? And I will prepare for this evening.
I'm going to recommend that we leave at least one of Juniper or Taconite here so that they can get the others for help if things do not go well for us. Also, we know that this place is safe and warm and appears like it might have food.
Very well. Juniper can say, if she, may she have, will you give her food while we are gone?
Of course. I love animal companions. One of my friends has 8 little critters he pulls around everywhere he goes. It's crazy.
Very well. And if not, Juniper is very capable of protecting herself.
That's wonderful. I never doubted it. Shall we go?
What are you doing?
I'm taking out.
Oh, he's gonna take Jinx out.
Ah, gotcha.
She's facing.
I'm going to the past.
We're going to the past.
Your wibbly wobbly timey wimey up in here.
That's right. That's how it works. Speaking of, did you see the Christmas special?
No. I'm a little skeptical of Donna, but the other Christmas specials.
So
I didn't watch it. No, I didn't watch this year's yet.
Yeah, I did the 3-episode arc with David and Donna. I did like it. Oh, I liked it a fair bit. It tied it all up kind of nicely. And I liked their representation, and it was just very nice. Of course, a lot of people hated it, which is probably why I like it more, because I like to pick on bigots, and that's what I do. So I love making people mad with that shit. But the actual the Christmas special with all of the new Doctor, man, he's great. There's one point where he's in a kilt and a wife beater just dancing his ass off to EDM in the middle of a club. It's so good.
Love it. Yeah, I'm excited about him. I did not keep up with the Whittaker stuff as much as I would have liked to.
Same. It's like I really like Jodie Whittaker a lot. Same for Peter Capaldi. I really, really like both of them as actors. Like Whittaker in Broadchurch was one of the best performances I've ever seen. And like having coming into it with Chibnall, who also did Broadchurch, I had really, really high hopes, but I just didn't, man. It just didn't hit with me the same. I still watched all of them because I love Doctor Who, but it wasn't the same to me. But I do like Shooty a lot. Like he's pretty. He's vibrant.
I heard something in Sex Ed, that show. I don't know if you've watched it.
I have not. I've heard of it, but I've seen bits and pieces here and there, but I've never actually watched it.
So when I heard that he was going to doctor it up, I was pretty excited.
Yeah. I saw him on the Barbie movie.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. I was like, that's the Doctor.
Oh, dear.
Ken number 2. Lady's back. There she is.
Hello. She's got such a sweet face.
She's the baby. I love her so much.
Are you still playing?
Yes. Michael had to take drinks outside. We're waiting for Michael to return.
We haven't even been to the past yet.
Haven't even been to the past yet. There's their puppy who looks like Hadley. But Hadley won't come over here. Hadley.
Order.
It's absolutely not. He's curled up on my new blanket and is not bothered by me at all right now. Okay. So the figure agreed. He looks at you and he goes, "Are you ready to go?"
I will follow.
Yes, let us go.
Wonderful. And he holds out a finger to each of you, and you all kind of watch it as it just gets closer and closer to your faces before he touches each of you on the nose, and there's this bright sparkle of gold glitter. And then it kind of falls away from your vision, and you notice that you're standing in the same room, but the furniture is much newer, much nicer. Everything's less dusty. And that smell comes to you tenfold. It just smells overwhelmingly delicious of cinnamon and nutmeg. And there is kind of laughter and shouts coming from one of the rooms. And you notice that the door is propped open by something. Hang on. There's a large barrel of wine that has the door propped open. The other door across the way that you had originally seen is still closed. So one open, one closed.
Well, If this is the past, we were advised to leave this room.
Yes. Do you prefer the open door or the closed door? Also, let's take a moment to appreciate that our companions are not here to try to drink the wine immediately upon seeing it.
Do appreciate that. Might as well look through the door that is already open.
Are you going to stealth up to it?
Yes.
Okay. You can make a stealth check for me, please.
I will try to stand very still so as not to disturb.
I have advantage on stealth checks, and my second roll is 20. 30, 20.
Very good. You creep up to the door. And there is quite a few people in this room. It looks like there's like at least one dwarf, dark hair, dark beard, big, bright, shining blue eyes that catch you from. That's like the main thing that catches you about them. There's a couple of gnomes. They both look a little bit elderly, male and a female. There is a dwarf, just standing tall and imperious against one of the windows. This little halfling. There's human, and they're all kind of engaging in kind of this socializing and drinking. It looks like a few of them have a game of charades going on. Like the dwarf is stood up and he's like making himself out to be like big and waddly. He's going like this to everybody and flinging his hands about, and they're all just shouting at him and laughing. None of them seem to notice you as you look around the door. There are a couple of small children that are running around in these really crazy, brightly colored sweaters. And there's just noise and talking and shouting and riotry going on in this room.
Do any of the
Frivolity.
children appear to be girls?
It looks like at least one of them is female presenting. You know, they're all kind of little, and so it's always really hard to tell. But one of them is a little more rosy cheeked and has a couple of bows in their hair.
I'm going to shrug and wave Omrick over if no one appears to have any weaponry.
They don't appear to have any weaponry. They're also not paying any attention to you. They haven't noticed your approach.
Very well.
Clank, 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 clank.
Are you trying to be stealthy?
No, I'm not trying to be stealthy.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing I still rolled shit. I rolled very badly, so even with your passive 10, they still don't notice you approach and continue on with their frivolity in this room. I will remind you that you were warned it was best not to be spotted.
All right. Is there any sign of a pudding in there?
Make a perception check.
All right. That is a 10.
You do not see a pudding in there anywhere.
Quietly, should we try the other door?
Yes. Let's.
Very well. And I head directly to the other door, trying to stay out of sight, which shouldn't be hard.
They're distracted with wine and games. That always is helpful. All right. You all make your way over to the other door. It is closed.
I will I'll open the door.
Okay. You open up the door and that richness of scent kind of washes over you again. You find yourself standing in a very well-appointed kitchen. There are baked goods and signs of baking absolutely everywhere in this kitchen. The thing that immediately catches your attention, though, is that the oven door is open. And in front of it is a little dark-haired girl wearing this little white dress and kind of a long white kind of nightcap looking thing, only it stands up straight. And she is pulling a just like a tray that's got some sort of brown blob atop of it out of the oven as you step in. She just kind of looks up at you when you walk in and like with really big eyes and just kind of stops.
Where can I have that?
She looks up at you and she goes, nope. And she like grabs it and books it back in like further into the kitchen, running around a big island. Gets to the far side of it, as far from you as you can, as she can get. And you hear just kind of a little little giggling coming from the other side.
Would you like assistance?
I am not an expert on children or small humanoids in general. Orders.
All right. You stay here and hold the door. The doorway at least. And how about Takana and I will try to make an approach since we've been seen by her. So any damage that's gonna be done has been done in that regard. So now we'll try diplomacy. All right, so I'm going to squeeze past and have Taconite follow to be in the kitchen. And I think, so she's on the other side of like an island setup or a
Yeah,
table?
like she's put herself as far from Echo as she can get with kind of like an island in the middle between them.
Yeah. Are there any other doorways leading out of the kitchen?
There's not.
Okay. Windows?
There is one window very high up on the wall.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to have Taconite go around have Taconite break right around the island. I'm going to break left. And say, hello, we were
as soon as you say hello, she jumps up and runs and like tries to skirt her way past Taconite. I don't know if you're going to have Taconite try and stop her.
Gonna have Taconite try to grab just bite her garment. So not to like cause damage, but try to restrain her.
Yeah. Okay, just make an attack roll with Taconite.
So I rolled an 11. And so I can use Dex.
Yeah. Is that
so 13?
I don't know. Unless you're using bite.
13 does hit, so you can manage to grab hold of her garment. And she kind of like trips, and the pudding goes like plop, plop, plop across the floor and lands close to the oven in front of Echo. And she's splayed out with her arms, and she kind of spins over and looks at you, and she goes, "Fine, spoil sport." She crosses her arms and just disappears. Taconite's grasp.
Quick, Echo, get the pudding. Dust it off.
Very well. Just in utter disbelief of the situation, I shall pick up this thing which you say is a pudding.
Kind of a
heading over,
domed brown mound.
just very as delicately as I can, just pick it up. Probably not holding it correct orientation. Just
Sideways.
Maybe a plate. I'm going to see if I can find a plate to assist.
Easy enough to find a plate, yeah. Even though it's hot, Echo doesn't have a problem holding it.
Yes. We'll get a plate under it. Does the pudding appear damaged or excessively
It's
dirty?
got a couple of small cracks on it, but it's not quite that bad.
Okay. Is it possible to like mush them to try to like help cover up the cracks? I'm not 100%
You
sure.
can certainly try.
I'm going to delicately as I can attempt with one of the cracks to try to like reform it a bit. See how that goes before trying any others.
Let's do shit. What's a fix
food
a cake?
handling.
Fix a cake check. Let's just do a dex check. So many
All
weird
right.
rolls.
That's a 9.
9. You know,
Nope.
it doesn't look any worse.
Okay. As long as my hands, I'm going to try lay on hands just to see if I can like send a hit points worth to help boost it up.
Doesn't seem to help. Yeah.
It's dead.
It's a dead.
One never
You
knows
killed the
in these
cake.
parts. It could be a sentient living cake in some way.
I certainly hope not. Is this our mission completed?
We have secured the pudding. So I think, yes, we head back to the room and see if our host will live up to his word.
Yes, certainly. Is there anything else in this room that looks like anything Echo would be interested in?
Sure.
Weaponry.
Make a investigation check.
There you go.
Thank you. Yes.
13.
13. Yeah. There is a really nice smelling pot of mulled wine on the stove. Looks really good. Your friends might like that. A couple of really well made gingerbread men as well. Catch your attention. Look better than the rest of it.
Should we take these back for Juniper? As I pocket one of the cookies.
That cookie functions as a minor healing potion. Ooh.
Very well. Shall we cross this mission off our list?
Just to check, are there any other puddings in any states of preparation?
Make an investigation check.
That's a 10.
10. You don't see any.
Didn't figure.
Guys are killing it with the rolls tonight.
Yeah,
It's all right. When you weren't here, they did just about as well.
perfect. Glad we're all on the same page.
All right.
Good.
Shall we continue on with this so far silly, but thankfully mostly not dangerous evening?
Yes, please.
All right, back to the room.
I will follow.
Taconite's coming
All
too.
right. You step back through the kitchen door into the entrance foyer, and it looks almost exactly the same as the very first time you set foot in here. Slightly worn furniture, a little bit dust covered. That big, tall figure is in the room again, and he goes, "Oh, you're back already. This is wonderful news. Before everybody got here, too." And he goes and he takes it from you, and he goes, "What is this?"
It is a pudding, I have been told.
Slightly worse for wear.
Yes, it is. It is a pudding, but it's not my pudding. It's not the pudding I was looking for. And he like chucks it over his shoulder, and Class gets it for, and he goes, try again. And he reaches out and boops you both on the nose, and you burst in these glitters of sparkles, and you're in the same room again, but this time it is dusty and moth-eaten, and there is some sort of like glass canister hanging from the ceiling that has some sort of like fiber inside of it that is alight somehow. It's unbelievable. You've never seen anything like it. And there is some noise coming from that door that is now not propped open, but it is hanging on one of its hinges, and you do hear some sort of sounds of movement from in there.
One thing to note before we do anything else, I just want to remind you, he was talking about a friend of his who was going to be like what was going to be present. So I think we might want to be prepared for some other sort of unexpected creature and hope that that is actually a friend and don't just automatically respond as if it's a threat. Just a thought.
I start to put back the arrow I had already drawn.
And I'm going to cast Detect Magic on the bulb.
Sure thing. It does not give off any school of magic that you know of.
You don't say.
I'm going to
It's a light bulb. It's a light.
I'm going to stealth over to the door and see if I can see through perhaps a crack as to who is making noise behind it.
Are you stealthied over?
Stealthing over.
Make a stealth check, please.
Oh, nat 20.
Oh, it was really important. You lucked out on that one because I had a good one. All right. You make your way over and peer around kind of the broken edge of the door. And there are two figures seated at a table in a room that is otherwise broken. You know, all of the furniture is now piles of kindling and fabric and stuffing and springs, you know, but there are these two figures sitting there that are dressed in kind of these dark purple long cloaks, and they are vaguely humanoid, but as your eyes adjust to the space, you can see that they each have these long sorts of moving tentacles draped from the bottom half of their face that are moving and slithering over a couple of plates of something pink and squishy and seems to be sort of gelled in a way. And they are having what sounds like it may be a conversation. It's a series of noises from one to the other and then back again, but you don't understand what's being said.
I'm going to walk back over to Omrick, just shaking my head. No pudding. Gesturing towards the other door with a shrug.
Nodding slowly, trying very hard not to move. Very worried about the clanking.
I'm going to head towards the other door and listen at it.
Okay. You don't hear anything from the other side of this door. The smell that had lingered here that smelled wonderful is no longer here.
However, since I smell like cinnamon,
Yes,
still not
it
bad.
is vaguely there, yes. Coming off of you. Not as strong.
I will open the door gently.
All right. Reach out and open the door, and as it slowly opens up, it suddenly bursts and like slams against the wall in this massive brown gelatinous form lurches its way through the door frame at you, and we're gonna roll for initiative.
Is this a pudding?
Looks a lot like the other one you saw.
The 12.
I got a 6.
All right. What happened to my music? But I'm gonna have to change the vibe anyway. I wish I had.
Also,
Rock
for
and
us, we're
roll.
not hearing the music.
Yes, it had stopped because that playlist is very short. I need some like really dramatic battle Christmas music.
Just call Danny Elfman. He's on it.
Yeah, I've got him on speed dial. All right, top of the round. As this thing bursts out of the door, Echo, you also hear another door slam as those two figures lurch through the doorway and stop, seizing up the situation, looking around wide-eyed. That goes to Omrick, and then Echo.
All right. I am going to channel divinity so I can abjure the extra planar. So I present a holy symbol, and each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet that can hear me must make a wisdom saving throw DC 13.
Very nice. Let me look at my shit. Wisdom. First one got a 11. Second one got a natural 20.
Okay. How about the pudding?
The pudding does not have to make it.
Pudding is a monstrosity, not a...
I don't believe so. It is a monstrosity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the one that failed is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage, and so it must spend its turns trying to move as far away from me as it can.
Okay.
And can't willingly end its move in a space within 30 feet of me.
Beautiful. All right. Excellent. We'll do that on their turn. What else for you, Omrick?
That was my core action, so now I'm just gonna move myself in front of Echo, shield raised, with Taconite at the ready.
Excellent. All right, that brings us to Echo.
I am going to cast Hunter's Mark on the what I've been told is a pudding.
Yes. Tis marked.
Let's see. And this is a monstrosity,
It is.
which happens to be one of my favorite enemies.
Yes.
Oh, that doesn't help me very much right now. So that was my bonus action, and I will
Oh, Greg's gonna come hang out and watch us kill a Christmas pudding. I guess.
so I will
Just keep going.
attack with my longbow.
Excellent. You will probably have disadvantage because you're in a small space.
Oh, that's right. Well, it was already in my hand. Always. My emotional
It's
support
okay.
bow.
That's all right. You can make it with disadvantage.
Okay. That would be 14 to hit.
A 14 hits the Christmas pudding. Smack it.
Let's see. One.
Never a
D8.
sentence I thought I'd say in my life.
So 6 points piercing damage to the pudding.
6 points of piercing damage to the pudding. It makes no sound because it has no mouth. Did you hear it
Does
squish?
the arrow go through it
Shit.
or embed itself?
It embeds itself. It kind of sinks into you with kind of a wet sucking sound.
Oh. Very well. That ends my turn. Wait, oh no. Extra 1d6 whenever I hit it with weapon because of Hunter's Mark.
Yes, Hunter's Mark.
So that's an extra 2.
An extra 2. Sings a little bit further. Anything else for you?
I guess just trying to keep everybody in my eyesight, but that is all my actions.
Gotcha. All right, that brings us to the pudding, who is going to roar at you. Echo, a big mouth opens up, and it comes slinging out like an appendage made of nuts and fruit. It's the best game I've ever played. That's not gonna 8, 9, 10, 12 points or 12 to hit.
12 does not
getting
hit.
Retired. Dirty 20 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. To find the right dice. That D20 is being retired for a while.
You have a fruitcake dice set.
I do not. I wish I did. Plus what? 14 points of slashing damage, and you can make
However, whatever the second part was, it's gonna be an issue. But I'm gonna do my reaction, which is interception, because I'm within 5 feet of Echo, and so I can reduce damage taken by 10.
Excellent. So you take 7.
7. Much more reasonable. Seven,
yes. And now you can make me a strength saving throw.
Strength. So I have advantage because a monstrosity is. Oh no, that's for survival check. Never mind. 12.
Never mind. 12 is still good enough. Those fruits try to rein you in, but they don't quite grab ya. Get away from me, fruits. All right. Top of the brown, that brings us to those mysterious creature. One of them, absolutely terrified of Omrick, is going to make a few quick symbols with its hand and completely disappear. That leaves you with one of them who is going to look out at both of you. And you see its eyes begin to glow with a really deep crimson red. And I need both of you to make an intelligence saving throw, please.
Then 19 for me.
That's a 7 for me.
Okay. Echo, you will take 22 points of psychic damage. Omrick, you take 11 points. And Echo, you are stunned as well by the wave of psychic energy that bursts through you. It's the end of its turn. Omrick, you're up.
Okay, this is no fun. What's within hammer distance of me right now?
Either or.
Either or? Okay.
Relatively small space. An entrance
Yep.
foyer,
Yep.
basically.
Yep. Okay. I am going to attack the cloaked figure. I'm going to hold off on the pudding for now.
Excellent. Roll to hit.
All right. With the hammer. That's an 11.
An 11 does not hit, unfortunately. It
Okay.
dodges out of the swing of your hammer.
Okay. But I do have my extra attack, which is whenever I take the attack action, not if I hit or not. So attack number 2.
Do it.
That's the wrong roll.
Is that squeaking very obnoxious? Can you hear
I
it?
don't hear it. I can't hear it.
Okay,
at all.
great.
You're good for
All right,
me.
that was a 16 for attack number 2.
16 will hit. Roll your damage.
Okay. Bludgeoning 4. And we're going to burn a spell slot to do a Divine Smite.
Nice.
Uh,
I don't know if you guys have met Greg. Greg plays in my real life game.
Oh,
Likes
hi,
to
Greg.
hang out,
Hi, Greg.
listen to us sometimes.
Okay, so the radiant damage is an additional 6 points of radiant damage.
Radiant.
Looks like it does more damage than you expected it to with that burst of radiant energy. It gives a hiss through its teeth at you in response.
Yeah.
What else for you, Omrick?
I'm not allowed to have Taconite also attack, or am I?
Yeah,
All right, cool. Taconite's gonna bite the pudding.
do it. Bite the bite the Christmas pudding.
Apt.
All right, that's a 13.
A 13 does hit, yeah.
Right, or what I add? Okay, cool. So 1d6 plus 1 piercing.
Delicious,
2 points of piercing
delicious.
damage.
2 points of piercing damage.
But the pudding must also succeed on a DC 11 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Strength. Okay, that's a very strong pudding. Where's my D20?
4 to 5.
I
Get a 21.
All right. Didn't knock the pudding prone. I'm shocked.
Didn't knock the
Is it
giant
already
Christmas
prone?
pudding prone. Anything else for Taconite?
Nope. That's pretty much all I can do.
All right. Echo.
How close is the tentacle guy?
The tentacle creature. He's about 15 feet from you.
Does it take an action to switch weapons?
Bonus action if you want to do it properly. Like properly put one away and properly take one out. Or you can just drop it on the ground and grab another one if that's your jam, and I'll give you that for a free action.
As a bonus, I can swap it out and I'll grab my sword
Mm-hmm.
and I will attack.
Attack! The pudding or the tentacle monster?
The tentacle monster.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a nat 20!
Woo! Do your damage.
Yeah. Damage is 10. So
10.
yeah, 10.
Yeah.
That's doubled.
Yes. Plus your
220?
modifier. Yep.
What's my modifier?
+4.
4. Okay, so 24.
24 points of damage. Dang. Looks a little rough after your slash through it. It's bleeding. One of its from the side, under one of its ribs. Anything else for you, Echo?
No, I'm very confused by this whole situation.
All right, that brings us to the pudding's turn, who is going to come charging. Oh, just got a bite taken out of it by Taconite. This mouth just opens wide on the side of this Christmas pudding, and it tries to bite down and swallow Taconite. Ooh, 19 to hit?
That'll hit.
Oh, so he is going to take 6, 11 points of slashing damage.
Okay, but I'm going to do my reflex interception.
Okay.
And so it is 1d10 plus 3. So that is 13 points intercepted. So I think that wipes it out, right?
Yes. That
Yeah.
he doesn't take any damage, but he is swallowed by the pudding, and he is blinded and restrained and being digested by a Christmas pudding.
No. Oh.
And then it's going to take its other swipe out at you, Omrick.
Huh?
That's probably going to do it. 18 plus stuff. 9, 21, 2, 3, 4, 25 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Then you're going to do 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 16 points of slashing damage.
Noted.
That is the end of his turn. Top of the round brings us to the tentacle creature, who is now very mad at Echo. See if I get my blast back. I do not. Good thing. So it is going to strike out with one of its tentacles at you, Echo. Tentacle hit. 24 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. I never get to use these dice. Where are they? That one. Plus 16 points of psychic damage. You can make an
Interception.
intelligence. That was 16.
Subtract
Intercept.
subtract 7 from that.
9 points of damage. And then you can make an intelligence saving throw. I forgot you were stunned on your last turn. You're welcome.
Dirty 20.
30, 20, you are fine. You just take the damage. All right, it's the end of its turn. Omrick.
Okay. I am going to Warhammer the tentacle creature.
Okay.
Once again, attack.
Attack.
That's a 25.
25 hits.
All right. So that's 6 points of bludgeoning damage. And I'm going to burn.
How many points of damage? I'm sorry.
6 points of bludgeoning.
Perfect.
Gonna burn a level 2 spell slot. And Divine Smite once again. And so burning a level 2, that gives me 3. Okay, so that's 10 points of radiant damage.
Woo! You give it a very good singe. It appears to be just barely keeping itself upright and on its feet.
Okay, and so then I'm going to use my extra attack option. And so swing the Warhammer again. So we've done the forehand, now the backhand.
All right.
10 to hit isn't probably not going to do it.
10 does not do it, sadly.
Okay.
Brings
right.
its arm up to stop your blow while it's struggling back to its feet.
Okay. All right. Taconite is going to try to escape from inside the pudding.
Cannot. He is
Restrained,
simply
not grappled.
restrained. Yep.
Okay. Well, then Taconite is going to make very sad noises and try to guilt the pudding into letting him go.
Don't play me like that. It's not nice. You don't get to do that shit. It's fantasy.
You're the one who had a pudding eat a dog.
True.
Not
True.
wrong.
All right, Echo, you are up then.
I am going to attack the pudding. I'm going to try to cut a piece off of it as an attack.
Okay.
And I will let's see. 12 to hit.
A 12 does not hit. Too busy trying to take a slice off of it. Miss your jabbing.
I am a little shaken up by this whole experience.
Understandably so.
That's all I'll do for right now.
Okay. That'll bring us to the pudding's turn then. And Taconite takes 6 points of acid damage in the stomach of a Christmas pudding. It's going to try and make... Go ahead.
So Taconite is going to, in a shimmering of celestial light, dissolve inside of the pudding, and with one last guilt-inducing whine, Taconite will vanish.
creature, this big pudding, like opens up its mouth and belches a sparkle of golden light. Taconite bursts within it. We're going to take the first claw at Echo. Will be 17 to hit. I don't know if that'll do it or not.
17 hits.
Okay. I keep throwing those dice down and then needing them again and not being able to find them. 5. 10 points of slashing damage.
Intercepted. For 3.
7 points of slashing damage. And then to Omrick, that's also going to be a 17 to hit.
17 does not hit.
Excellent. Scratches off of your armor. Creature gives a roar of anger at the both of you. Brings us to the tentacle creatures who hisses up at you, Omrick, and he says, "We'll see you again." And it's like disappears out of the space, leaving this large brown globulous thing just leering over the both of you. And that'll bring us to you, Omrick.
All right. Well, feeling encouraged by the sudden reduction in foes, I am going to swing the Warhammer at the pudding.
Smack the pudding.
The 21 to hit.
21 hits.
Yep. That's 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
To the pudding.
11 points of bludgeoning damage. All right.
And I'm going to use my extra attack and swing the Warhammer once again. This time, 11 to hit, which I'm going to guess is not going to do it.
11 does not do it. Very close, though.
Okay.
It
Are we
sees
okay
your
with me using a
second
bonus
hit coming.
action to put a hand on Echo and do a lay on hands pool transfer? Are
Is
we
it
okay
a
with
bonus
that?
action? Is it listed as a bonus action?
Not explicitly, no.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And we're battling in the first room, not in the kitchen.
In the first room, yes. You open the door and it bursts through into the foyer to you. But that does bring us to your turn.
I'm going to cast I'm gonna eat the cookie.
Okay. You can do that as a bonus action.
Okay.
That's a standard
Right.
healing potion, so 2d4 plus 2. A damn good cookie.
That's 7.
Very good.
And I will yell at Omrick, can you be nice to it? Good. Sing at it. That's what they were doing in the past. Would that make the pudding happy? And then I'm going to attack it with my short sword.
Roll to hit.
La!
To the pudding.
15.
15 hits, yeah.
That's 9 points of double roll of damage.
9
Piercing
points of damage. Very good. Starting to look like it's slowing down on its movements against you, giving more roars of pain. Keep slicing at it and cutting off bits of it that are falling like giant crumbs on the floor. Cheers, Nick. They're waving at you.
What?
This lady.
I'll squirt. Get in.
What else for you? Oh, ew, get off of me. You're wet. Gross.
Hi, Richie.
Ew.
I
cat.
think with the fortification of a cookie, I will, having attacked, I will be done with my turn.
All right.
Oh,
Brings
hold on.
us. Ooh.
I keep forgetting I've Hunter's marked.
Hunter's marked. Yes.
An extra D6. Two more.
2 more. Very good. All right, that brings us to the pudding, who is now back to being angry at you, Echo. We'll do a 1-2, same as before. 1 to each of you. That's a 17 to Omrick.
Does not hit.
12 to Echo.
Does not hit.
Gives a roar of frustration and anger. And that brings us to Omrick's turn.
All right.
Moving fast, this one, huh?
Not displaying a ton of creativity here. We're just going to keep on swinging.
Smack it.
So, Warhammer attack. 15 to hit.
15 hits.
Okay. 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
11. More crumbs.
Extra attack. 12 to hit.
12 does not hit, unfortunately. Close. You're so close. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Echo.
I will continue to attack the pudding.
Excellent. Attack the pudding.
With my short sword. Nat 20.
Nat 20 does it for sure.
Okay. That's 14 piercing plus 6.
Echo, how would you like to do this?
I would like to curve the swing of my blade so I cut out a perfectly round piece of pudding about the size of the last one and catch it gracefully in my other arm as the creature wails its dying blow.
It gives a wail and collapse in a squishy pile on the floor. It's suddenly very quiet in here.
Now I'm going to put a hand on Echo's shoulder and do a lay on hands full transfer to them. And I'm going to do 20 points of transfer.
Nice.
That's a big healing.
They've been taking a lot of damage.
That is true.
And I'm going to use my one remaining level 2 spell slot to once again cast Fine Steed and have Taconite return.
Oh,
Gives you
ain't
a
that
wag of the
foul?
tail.
Yeah. And I will offer Taconite a piece of the now deceased pudding.
Oh, Taconite and Juniper absolutely tuck in to the pudding, other than the nice piece that Echo is holding on to.
Do we think this is the right pudding? Or should we check?
Let's see what else is in the kitchen.
We have to leave this room probably anyway.
Yep.
Let's go to the kitchen. Very, very firmly holding that piece of pudding I cut out of the larger pudding.
Let this be a warning to anything else getting ideas in there.
All right, you'll step through the threshold and into the kitchen. It is very cold and dark in here, not as nearly as many signs of life as before, but there is just a black, shapeless, robed kind of form, just slightly hovering in the far corner.
Hello.
Ugh.
We are a couple of travelers who were sent here to try to help a friend. We did not mean to trespass or interrupt. We thought this would be a fairly low intensity endeavor.
You hear a voice kind of creep into the back of your mind that just says, "Return."
Upon contemplation, let's return.
We have a pudding. Do I see any other anything that could possibly resemble a pudding?
Make a perception check.
$22.
22. You do not see anything else that could resemble a pudding. Definitively.
Delightful absence of pudding.
I would like to not see pudding again, I believe. Shall we?
Well, I hope to meet you under less painful circumstances as I back out the door.
All right. You back out the door into a very warm lit interior. And there's a multitude of voices that greet you, just like, "Hey, oh, I made it." And you turn around and there's just a room full of people. There's the big green robed figure. There's the little girl in the white dress. There's the black kind of amorphous form kind of hovering in the corner. There's quite a large figure in red. And you can see Juniper through the window outside romping around with like these slightly small antlered creatures. And they seem to be chasing each other throughout the snow. Taconite looks up at you and then looks back at them outside and then looks back up at you, Omrick. And then looks back outside and like drops his tongue out.
Go ahead and play.
And he like takes off out to the door. You all are handed a couple of very warm glasses, mugs. You're like, well, you brought the right one, obviously. Fantastic. This is great. Here, I've got you something. And he hands you like a big red shoe boot kind of thing. It's soft, though, and it feels like there's a couple of objects stuffed down inside of there. This is in thanks for making this year's party a festive affair.
Was this handed to me or to Omrick?
Yeah. Yes, to both of you. Yeah.
I'm going to put my hands on either side of the opening on the top and kind of rip it apart to see what's inside.
Oh, you don't have to. Okay, that works too. I hope that you enjoy it. And inside of there is what looks to be like a cardboard tube that might have some sort of split down the middle of it. And then there is a very bright orange small fruit. And then there is a really quite large red and white striped piece of candy.
I'll hold one end of the cardboard and try to pass it to Omrick.
I will take the other end.
You gonna take it? Pulling it back as if he doesn't want it.
And I'm gonna do my own nice little.
But
Have we
to
misinterpreted the cardboard too?
Where you pull it apart and a like flimsy yellow crown made of some sort of paper falls to the ground. But when it lands, it turns into like this big circle of just pure darkness. This figure, he goes, "Oh, that's quite handy. You can put a lot of things in there."
Well, I know one thing we're not putting in the bag when we get back to the rest of the group.
I've used that to escape from many a close situation. And if you have this, and he holds up the little fruit to you, and he goes, "If you have this, it can make you invisible for an hour. And watch this thing," and he takes the big piece of candy from you, and he like puts one end of it up against the fireplace and like pushes the end of it, and he pulls away, and it just stays there, kind of one end floating in mid-space. It's an immovable rod. But it's a candy
I'm
cane.
gonna just walk over and kind of like try to move it around.
It does not move. You were able to do pull-ups on it, chin-ups on it.
I'm very much just exploring this rod and having a gay old time.
I'll take a look at what's inside of my, I assume, boot warmer is what this is for, so I'll keep the boots warm. Big enough you can put it over the boots.
Yep, it is. It fits right over top of your boot.
I don't actually do that. I just like hold it up to check, but I'm going to see if there's anything
Yeah.
inside.
It would look like it would fit. Now, Echo has retrieved everything from inside of it now.
Okay. And I guess I'm going to take what's left and head out to the door and whistle for Taconite to come over. And I'm going to toss it to Taconite. So Taconite has something to play with out in the snow, and Taconite goes bounding through the snow, tossing it up in the air and catching it, and just generally having fun with the pieces of stuff.
Yeah. Makes for a lovely sight up against the snow. You do feel yourselves nearing the end of day. You fear that kind of tiredness sweeping over you. It still hasn't changed. It's still dark. It's still windy. It's still snowing. Although it's not as like gale and blizzardy as it was when you first arrived here. It's a little more still and constant now. But it is dark, and you assume late. You feel it in your bones. Your inner clock turns over.
Do you require rest?
At some point, yes. I do kind of want to get back to our group before I do, though.
Very well.
Unless there's a fun property of this house that means that if we rest here and then get up, we'll be right back by our group again. That would be very helpful.
I don't know anything about this house. Would you like to rest here or make the journey to our friends?
Let's make the journey to our friends. The return trip.
You're the one who struggles with snowdrifts.
I can. Taconite seems to be navigating them well, and if need be, I can catch a quick nap while riding Taconite, and as we make our way back to the group before a proper rest.
Very well. Would you like to say goodbye to our host?
That would be polite. So I'm going to make my way back over to the large green-clad figure and say, thank you very much, sir, for your hospitality.
Oh, you going so soon? Not even staying for dinner?
I'm afraid we have friends who we must get back to so that we can help support them. Although if you have anything to spare for Juniper, I'm sure that would be much appreciated.
Yes, I'm sure that we could do that. If you'll give me the crown, I'll fill it.
Ah, yes, excellent. Yep. So let's do that.
He goes into the kitchen with the crown and he comes back out probably good like 10-15 minutes later. And he hands a little flimsy paper crown back to you. Because here you go, this should keep your creatures in good stock for quite some time. And safe journeys to you, of course.
Thank you. I don't suppose you or one of your friends here might be able to help speed our way at all.
Well, that depends on where you're trying to go now, doesn't it?
We'd be looking to go back to Yon, where we came from, so we can reunite with our friends and join them in our quest.
That's right. You're with the Fae. I'm sure one of my good friends could give you a lift. They were just about to leave, got a really long night ahead of them, so I'm sure they could give you a lift if you would like.
As long as there is room for all of us, yes, that would be much appreciated.
We could always make room. Isn't that right? And like the big fat man in red comes up to you and he's like, yes, yeah, we can make room for you, of course. There's always room for more. But I do have to get going. Are you ready?
Yes. Can I take this striped stick with me?
Of course you may. That is my gift to you.
Gonna try to figure it out on my own for a while. Looking over my shoulder if I'm struggling.
I mean, he touched one end of it to make it stick, right?
And yeah, the man in red will come over and he goes, oh, yeah, I got it for you. And he pushes the button at the end and it unclicks. He hands it back to you.
Echo's I'm gonna hug it to my chest. Thank you. And toddle on over to the rest of the group.
Very welcome. He leads you outside into the snow where there is just this absolutely massive sleigh laid out and these antlered creatures pulled in front of it. And he goes, which way? Or just give me a name. Just give me a name. I can find anyone.
Ryreek.
Lyric Gristle. Yes,
Yep.
I know that one. 1 second, and he reaches in to his sleigh and he pulls out a big book, right? And he starts whistle. Got it. Let's go.
Do you need help with pulling your sleigh? Juniper.
Oh no.
Very well. I'm gonna. This will hold my weight.
Of course. It will hold mine, it'll hold yours.
All right. I'll gingerly step into it, hoping not to damage anything.
You manage to not damage anything and get yourself settled into it.
I will also enter, as will Taconite, still with the stocking in his mouth.
Yes, absolutely. He actually sits up front next to the figure in red, who gives him a little pat before taking up his reins and giving a swish. And to your surprise, it actually lifts off into the air almost immediately, a very short runway before a steep ascension. And it circles around for a bit, and you hear the figure kind of mumbling to themselves and like looking over the side. And he goes, "Yep, they're down in there. Come on." And he leans it down. He's, "Oh gosh, the rocks. This is always the worst place to land." He circles a little bit until he finds kind of a flatter plane to land on before bringing it down in. And he goes, "There's a small chasm that they've hunkered down in away from the wind. So that's where you should find them now. I think they'll be coming out in about 6 minutes."
Oh, thank you very much for this assistance, kind stranger. We are very glad to have made your acquaintance.
You've had made my acquaintance for longer than you've known. I'll see you next year. Yes, same time, same place. Part of the crowd now, right?
Hopefully a different, better place than this one.
That's true. Yeah, this is a weird one.
I wish you many successful battles. I hope you complete your missions. Thus.
Me too. And to you as well.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. And he turns and gives a lash of his reins and takes off up into the night with a laugh trailing behind him. And you all turn, and in the distance you see the heads of your companions popping out of a small cut canyon and kind of turning and looking almost despairingly down the road without their saner companions. And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Can I just very, very quickly?
Yes.
With a great swelling of warmth and for seeing my friends again, I look to Echo and I say, "Il Mater bless them, every one."
Heavy sigh.
That's the perfect place. Yay!
Yeah.
It's all been a
That
star.
was hilarious.
I'm glad that you enjoyed.
I nearly died by pudding. I just learned about
Death
them
by
and
pudding.
I have no desire to ever encounter one again.
The most fun thing is going to be you all explaining to each other what you've been doing while you've been apart. That's going to be the best part.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, before we do our chit chats, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for our recording. So you guys don't go anywhere, but the rest of you, make sure you like and subscribe and follow and comment and rate and do the things so that more people can find us and listen to us and we can be more popular, because that would be fun. Anyway, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. So take care of yourselves and we'll see you then. All right, everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.